everyone. Welcome to LoveCast, the BL podcast reviews. I am your host, Alexa, and I have my fellow hosts, Pixie and Kayla, with me.
Hey.
So today we are switching it up a little bit. We are reviewing a movie for this month's review. We are going to be talking about the 2024 film directed by Boss Kuno of I Told Sunset About You and Gel Boys fame, Paradise of Thorns. So Paradise of Thorns stars Jeff Satur and Engfah Waraha. It is the story of Tongkam and Sek, a devoted gay couple in Thailand who build a life together with a house and a durian orchard. After Sek's sudden death in an accident, Tongkam discovers that same-sex marriage is not legally recognized in Thailand, leaving him with no rights to their assets. The house and orchard are inherited by Sek's mother, who moves in with her adopted daughter Mo and gardener Jingna. As tensions rise over the orchard, Tongkam struggles to reclaim the land filled with him and Sek's shared memories. So this movie is about 2 hours long, and it is available on Netflix for most countries. I know it's coming to North American Netflix like in the next couple of days, so hopefully by the time this comes out it will be available on Netflix more worldwide. But yeah, so obviously this was filmed before the legalization of gay marriage in Thailand, but I think it still touches on elements of legislation around queer relationships that are still relevant even after the legalization of queer marriage. And I also like the elephant in the room is that this is not a BL. It's not even really a romantic movie. It's a movie with queer films starring queer characters. And obviously with it having Jeff and Kang and Engfah, these are all actors in the BL and GL scene. So I think it runs very BL and GL adjacent, but it's not a BL in and of itself. So we're not really going to be reviewing it through the lens of it being a BL because that's not what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a romance, so obviously it can't be a BL. So,
yeah. But what a movie. I have a lot of I literally just watched this last night, and it's one of those ones where I was just staring at my screen while the credits played, just trying to process everything that movie threw at me, because it threw so much at you so often. It was nonstop. I put in my notes that it honestly kind of felt like a thriller to me at some points, just with the use of the music, the way they would use camera shots, and just this whole plot around Tongkam and Mo kind of trying to go after each other, but more importantly go after the rights to the orchard, and everything that. So a lot of it read kind of thrillery to me. I was very much on the edge of my seat, just waiting for another bad thing to happen.
I mean, MDL does put it under thriller in genre, so
that makes sense. Yeah,
spot on.
It was just so tragic. It really was just so tragic, and for every single character.
Yeah.
I think one big thing that stuck out to me about this movie was how well they're able to turn you, the viewer, against Mo from very early on. You're she really is the villain when the movie is starting off and for most of it. And then as it progresses, you start to understand that she is a victim in the situation as well. And she's just trying to survive like Tongkam is. And it's just it's really sad that things had to come down to what they came down to in the end, because I don't know, she did some really fucked up things, which we can get into. But I also, by the end, I was I kind of get it though. Yeah, I kind of do. And I felt like her and Tongkam were almost even.
Yeah, no, they were we didn't realize it because we were watching it from Tongkam's perspective, but they were basically walking on parallel lines this whole time, having experience being victims of the same things in different ways. I think it's a really interesting commentary on the things that marginalized groups of people will do in order to survive and be able to move themselves up to a better place. Not only like socioeconomically, because we don't know a lot about Tongkam's upbringing, but like we know that he sold his house to be able to like fund their orchard, and he was the one paying off all of Sek's loans, so he doesn't have any money. And we obviously saw where Mo comes from, the house she was living in with Sek's mom. So like not only just like socioeconomic like issues, but also with Mo being a woman and Tongkam being a gay man. Like they really were like walking parallel lines of like fighting the same fight for themselves, but like you said, because so much of the story was told through Tongkam's lens and we were finding out information as he was, like she reads as a villain pretty early on.
I guess another thing is that like Sek, the whole time I didn't really know what to believe about him. Like, because you really do think that, I mean, we believe that he was in love with Tongkam, and then you find out his relation to Mo, and you're like, oh, well, then he was just using Tongkam. And then you find out that, well, he was going to use him, but he fell in love with him, I think. So it's like, I never knew what to think about Sek's character the whole time. I was like, did he actually like genuinely like love and appreciate Tongkam, or was he just using him to help him fund his like dream of buying this land and running this orchard? Like, I don't know. I never knew, I guess, what to think of him. Like,
yeah, it was like every section of the film like revealed something new about him. Like when they had that shot of Tongkam seeing all the bouquets that he had made for Mo, knowing that like he used the same bouquet to propose to Tongkam, like, okay, I was like, okay, Sek's the bad guy here. Like he was obviously like, well, he was using both of them to some degree up until he died. He was stringing both of them along in some way. And then like you get to the end and Mo is like, no, he was trying to leave her basically for literally the day he died. He was breaking up with Mo and he came home to Tongkam that night, and then like basically died having his accident the next day. So you want to believe that like he was choosing Tongkam, but in the same vein, he still did string Mo along for all those years and make her believe that he was just using Tongkam and was gonna marry her eventually. So if anything, like obviously the big villain in this film is the law and government and how it screws people over. But if there was another villain in the film, I feel like it was low-key Sek, because he was fucking with both of these people and was the catalyst for so much of what happened.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to say for withholding information, right? That no matter what your intentions are, if you're not being honest with the people around you, then whatever your intention was, it's not great.
Yeah, no, he definitely started his relationship with Tongkam under, from what Mo said, the guise of using him for his money and then ditching him. So his initial intentions were definitely not very good towards Tongkam.
I did not like the mom.
Stand her.
I really did not like her.
Oh God, she was like, it's another thing where like I sympathize with what she went through. Like she worked herself to the point of being disabled. Like she fell off a cliff working and ended up disabled. But yeah, her fickleness with like basically being loyal to whoever she thought would get her the most in the end. And then I think watching, specifically, I think Tongkam was always using her the way she was using him. But specifically Mo realizing that she did not mean anything to the grandma, and the grandma was willing to throw her away when she thought Tongkam would bring her the money for the village, or for the orchard, in the Dorian. Like Mo having that moment of realization that all the, like, I think she said 20 years she took care of the grandma, or the mom, and then it was all worth nothing when Tongkam dangled like the 2 million baht in front of the grandma's face. Like, I mean, I wouldn't have necessarily tried to kill her, although Mo didn't necessarily kill her. She did kind of leave her to die.
Neglect.
Neglect, yeah. I really thought she was gonna push her off the cliff, but it ended up just being that, like, the grandma was in a basket, and, well, she did leave her to die, basically, when she did fall into the little pit. But, yeah, the grandma was definitely very manipulative in using basically everyone in the story.
Yeah, I feel like the turning point was really whenever Tongkan buys her the electric wheelchair, because then that was when Mo realized that, like, she is slowly becoming useless to the mom. And I feel like that is what really triggered her, and this, like, competition between them to kind of see who can get on the mom's good side. But at the same time, we saw Mo trying, or basically, like, starting to neglect the mom, because she was like, well, you like your son-in-law better, so I'm not gonna, like, help you, like, get up or take you anywhere. But even that didn't last long.
Mo was using the mom. Mom was using Mo and Tongkam. They were all using each other. Like,
and I think they all knew that they were using each other.
Yeah, it was like the relationships that they were claiming were all so thinly veiled. Like, especially, like, after Tongkam initially, like, got arrested because he was trying to steal all the stuff that he bought for their house, and then Mo called the cops on him, and then he ended up coming back to apologize for the grandma. Like, they all knew that, like, he didn't actually feel sorry for anything that he did. Like, I think they were all aware that they were walking this, like, very precarious relationship of using each other. Anyway, it was interesting. And then little himbo Jingna, who just got starstruck by the dick, and he ended up paying the ultimate price.
Oh my gosh, I just have to say, I think this movie is the best Kang has ever looked. Ever.
Oh my god. Yeah. I had a lot of feelings about him and Jeff. Obviously, it was not a romantic movie. Like, their romance was such a minute part of this story. But yeah, I loved both him and Jeff. Like, Jeff's cunty little outfits with his little bell-bottom jeans that he would wear, and his mullet, and, like, his like floral button-down shirts. Like, they both looked so good. And I just love shows where, like, people's natural skin tones get to, like, kind of shine.
Agree.
Yeah. Visually,
I mean, it feels relevant for the story as well if you're, like, farming and you have darker skin. Like, exactly. You can't be pale, and
I was honestly very satisfied when Mo realized that Tongkam had basically won over her brother and was no longer on her side. Like, I don't know. It was very satisfying in the moment, although we see that Jingna ends up betraying Tongkam too, which broke my heart. It really did. I felt so bad for Tongkam the whole time.
Yeah, he really did get betrayed by pretty much everyone in that movie at least once. But, like, I don't know. And then it was like Jingna betrayed him, but then he came back and was tying up all the durian in the storm so that they wouldn't get damaged. And I was like, God damn it. At the end of the day, my heart really does yearn for the queer romance, because I couldn't help but, like,
I had, like, no context of this movie. I was just going into it blindly. So I was surprised whenever Jingna first made a move or tried to make a move on Tongkam, because I just wasn't expecting it, because it's not a BL. I don't know. But then I was like, wait, there is this, like, weird tension.
There's something going on here.
It was interesting. Them sleeping outside.
Oh my god. Their little, like, mosquito tents that they turned into, like, their little love nest. But yeah, and, like, in the end, like, because when they went to the temple and Jingna said his wish was for him, Mo, and Tongkam to, like, all just, like, exist peacefully. I really felt for him in that moment. Like he was such a himbo, and like he was trying his best to like play both sides, and then it was like in that moment Tongkam was willing to try and accept Mo for Jingna's sake, and then it's just like once again something kind of happened to make sure that wouldn't happen for either of them. So yeah, it's just like it was really depressing. Like every time there was like a moment of hope, then like something else would happen and like shatter that hope immediately. But
do you feel like, especially towards the end, it became very melodramatic?
yeah, I think there was elements of
But
melodrama
is that a
throughout the
negative
whole
thing?
Oh no, I don't think so. I mean, I think things definitely came to like an extreme head, like in the final, what was that, 15 minutes, like after the wedding of Mo and that random cop. I think he was a cop. It certainly like it felt like it went from, I feel like the drama had been very like understated almost until that point, and then things got so escalated because so much violence was brought into it in those final 15 minutes that maybe it felt more extreme, but I also don't think it was out of place, if that makes sense.
It was like all of their pent up aggression towards each other just came out all at once. Like they both just couldn't even take it anymore. There was a camera shot that I really liked where they showed just like the durian fruit with blood all over it. And I was like, this is like so symbolic of almost like the money that they're bringing in being like blood money, because there's so much drama going into it. Like it's all revolving around them wanting possession of this durian orchard. But it's like, I don't know. Do any of them even want it for the quote right reason? I don't know, because the only thing I think that kept Tongkam very like spiteful trying to win it back is because he was thinking like, I have to do this because Sek loved me and like this is what he would want, like this was basically our child. But then when he realizes, he starts to like question, I guess, did Sek even really love me? I feel like that's when he starts to kind of let go at the end of the orchard and just like the idea of fighting for it. So he's like, maybe I should just walk away at this point.
Yeah, I think he was the only person at first who had some sort of, obviously he had some sort of actual connection to the orchard, because it was like the thing that him and Sek built together. And then like once grandma, or I don't know why I keep calling her the grandma, once Mo and the mom came in and started getting a little nefarious with their intentions, I think his like spite kind of came to the forefront. And then once he like discovered that Sek was not like, was being basically with Mo as well, that's when things like really kind of like fell out. Like I saw someone actually, I was reading some posts on Tumblr about this, and people actually talked about like the symbolism of his first kiss with Jingna and like lifting the veil of the mosquito net, and that being like kind of like lifting the veil of like, I don't know, like his emotional connection to the orchard almost, and kind of moving it from him wanting to preserve Sek's memory to whatever else, I guess just wanting to beat Mo after the fact. So yeah, I saw some posts that kind of talked about the symbolism of that specific moment, and like after realizing what Sek did, choosing to kiss Jingna and like lift that physical mosquito net, but also like what that symbolized for his motivations going forward, I guess. I wanted to talk about the scene that really like got to me, and this is kind of when you bring it back to the marriage equality, is when Mo was having like the super extravagant wedding with the police officer, and at the same time like Jingna and Tongkam were in the orchard deciding to get married, and they basically signed their names on the little durian pit and used that as like the symbolization of their decision to marry each other. So just like, first of all, it was really cute, but also just like the juxtaposition of like the heterosexual couple getting to have this like extravagant wedding there was someone who said, like, very pointedly that, like, she would never have to be ashamed about going out in public with this police officer. And then, like, that juxtaposing with Jingna and Tongkam, like, in the orchard, basically just knowing that the only thing they could have to symbolize wanting to marry each other was the discussion between themselves in the little durian pit that they signed their names on. And that made me, like, really emo.
Yeah. This is related to that, but I also thought the whole thing with the rings was interesting because, like, when Sek dies, Mo literally takes, like, the ring off his finger and gives it to the mom, even though it's his and Tongkam's wedding rings. So it's like, that's like your first, I think, sign of like, something is gonna go wrong here. But then like there's the whole scene where Tongkam is like wanting the ring back, I think. Like, does he like take it back or something? And they're like,
he takes it off the grandma's finger. Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I think like the sense of ownership that the mom had over Sek is very interesting. I don't know. Yeah, she very pointedly said, like, I think Tongkam said something about how, like, Kim and Sek had been, like, investing in this orchard for, like, the past 5 years. And the mom was like, well, I invested in Sek for more than 30 years or something like that. So, like, the idea that because she was his mom and raised him, like, she was entitled to everything he had created with Tongkam as well. And I think it's really interesting that circles back kind of in the end, where there's this moment where the mom is like, she was talking to Mo and she's like, well, I never told you I was going to accept you as my daughter-in-law. And Mo was like, well, no one ever gave you permission to be a mom either. So it kind of comes back to like her, I don't know, like the entitlement of like being someone's family by blood and thinking that gives you rights to things, even if you aren't necessarily deserving of them, I guess.
Yeah. And also, I guess just like Mo is thinking like, I deserve it because I did all these things for you. Like, it's not even necessarily like because I'm like your adopted daughter. It's because like you owe me for taking care of you every day for however long. Which I understand her feeling like scorned by it, because like I think that would be really devastating to hear after like you took care of someone who was a mother figure and they're like, well, basically like you're not even my daughter.
Yeah.
Like that would be really devastating to hear. But it's, I don't know, again, it's like the obligation versus like wanting to do something because you actually care. It's like, did she even actually care, or was she trying to get something that she wanted the whole time from the mom?
And then the reveal that she basically let Sek die. Like, she stalled them from getting to the hospital in time to like be able to sign for his surgery. Which, like, there's so many layers to that, because it's like she knew that Tongkam wouldn't be able to say yes to the surgery since they weren't legally married. But it's also like you see that scene and like you see almost like she was crying in that scene. Like, you can see like almost like the desperation of this being almost like, I guess, what she thought was her final chance to have any attempt at being anything better, or else she would just be stuck basically feeling obligated to take care of Sek's mom in like that tiny shack. So yeah, it was a really interesting, like, she didn't like hands-on kill him, but she knew enough to know that like if they didn't get into the hospital in time, like it would not be good for him. So that was a really interesting reveal as well.
It's also very devastating whenever Tongkam is holding the little paper at the hospital that's, I guess, the death certificate, and they have him written down as a friend.
The friend, yeah. It was, and I think it, like, it didn't translate it, but I'm pretty sure it said, like, it must have said, like, husband or partner, and then it was crossed off, and then it said, like, friend of patient. That was really, like, yeah. And, like, we've seen that touched on in shows before, like, in Gap, like, one of Sam's sisters died because her partner wasn't able to sign off on like her getting a surgery she needed because they were not legally married. So, and I mean, that's a thing in so many countries, like the medical rights that you gain like when you're legally married to someone. So it's definitely like a very pointed conversation around why marriage equality is important. It was just very depressing. Like I came out of that movie feeling very depressed because I was like, no one really like made it anywhere. Like, yes, technically Mo ended with the orchard, but the orchard had also been destroyed because she destroyed all of the viable durian. Her fucking husband ran away with all her down payment, and I have to presume that the person who gave them that deposit for the durian is going to want the money back when all the durian is destroyed. So it's almost like she's starting over in debt again, even though she has the orchard. Tongkam leaves, so like you can presume that, I guess he did see like the little durian blossom at the end, so it kind of like circled back to where it all started. But largely like it felt very depressing for everyone still by the end of the movie.
Don't you think like Tongkam leaving is sort of a positive thing in the fact that it symbolizes him letting go and starting over again and getting on with his life, which is healthy?
I mean, there's definitely like positive there. I think it's depressing because he had already made the decision to leave, but he wanted to leave with Jingna, and then he ended up leaving alone in the end. So like he had already made the decision to let go and start over, but now he's having to do that alone when that like was not what he originally wanted. So, but in general, I think he is ending on a more positive note than Mo, when you just get like this final shot of her face all scratched up from the durian, and she's like walking through this orchard that is now hers, but like she doesn't know how to take care of it. She has no viable durian to sell now.
It's kind of a whole like you get what like be careful what you wish for.
Exactly. It's like she got what she wanted, but she still kind of ends up screwed in the end, which like I do feel for her in that, but yeah.
If you think about it, her like whole plan to sabotage the orchard didn't make sense in the first place, because if you want to own the orchard, then why would you not want it to be thriving? Like, it's going to be destroyed if you destroy it yourself. It didn't make any sense, but
she was definitely blinded by like
I was gonna say when you get like blinded by revenge or rage or whatever, and too emotional, then you can't see what's in front of you and think right.
I think she wanted to prove also that like Tongkam wouldn't be able to make anything out of the orchard, since like the grandma was under the impression that they needed to keep him around to keep the orchard thriving. But like if she destroyed it all, then like it would prove that he's not really necessary because he didn't do anything good for it anyways. But yeah.
I mean, she wasn't thinking ahead.
Exactly. Like everything was very much on impulse of like wanting to be on top in that moment, and then like not really thinking about like the future of what that would mean for her. But yeah. I really like you said, Kayla, I went into this movie with like no real context of what it was about. I knew some things, like I knew that Jeff and Kang would have a little something because, funnily enough, one of my friends who doesn't watch BL sent me a gift set of them kissing through the mosquito net and was like, what is this movie? We need to watch it. So I was like, okay, well, I know that's a thing going on there. But yeah, like I went in like, I knew it wasn't going to be a BL. I knew it was going to be more of like a commentary type film on like queer rights and marriage rights and law and things like that. But like I did not expect like 90% of what happened in that film. But I think it's some of the best acting I've seen from like everyone in that film. Like Engfah was incredible. Jeff was incredible. Kang was incredible. Like the grandma was incredible. As much, I keep saying grandma, the mom was incredible as much as like I disliked her character. Like the acting performances were top notch from everyone in the film, and I'm like, I know they won a bunch of awards for it, so I'm not surprised that they did.
I mean, this is very up Jeff's alley. Like, this is the stuff that he loves to do, and you can see it in a lot of the stuff that he creates himself, like the music videos, the trailer for the movie he won, or is it a show? I'm not sure.
The happy ending, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so.
It's supposed to be a show.
I don't know. We don't have a lot. They haven't finished the script yet.
Yeah.
Well, I think they recently finished the script, but yeah, you can see it in all of that this is like right up his alley. So I can imagine like it kind of spurred on his creative juices. I love seeing Jeff in anything. I've said that like from the first time I saw him in He, She, It, like great. Everyone should watch Jeff.
Yeah, I think this is easily my favorite thing that I've watched him in. Granted, like I've only watched him in He, She, It, and Kim Porsche, I think. I'm trying to think if I've seen him in anything else.
Kim Porsche didn't do him justice.
Oh, I was actually going to say, like, Kim Porsche did not do his acting chops justice at all.
Like,
and that
he was
only
basically
is like
freaking cut out of the show.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have a role in it.
Yeah. We all know I didn't love their storyline at all in Kim Porsche. So this was such a good, like, almost like, I guess, reintroduction to Jeff's acting. And I think this was also the first thing I watched Kang in, because I obviously Keng Harit isn't out yet, and I can't think of if I would have seen him in anything else. But it makes me really like excited for Keng Harit, because it's not super similar, but I think the emotional intensity of the shows will kind of be at the same level. So it makes me like look forward more to Keng Harit. And Engfah was just I watched Petrichor. She was good in Petrichor. I didn't watch her first GL that she was in, but I know a lot of people have said she's improved a lot from their first GL that they did together. So
I actually didn't recognize her at first. Like,
right?
She always looks so glam that I didn't recognize that it was her, and then I was like, oh. And like I had never seen her act before, so I was like, oh my gosh, she needs to be cast in more things. Like,
right.
She was really good. Really good.
She's really good. I would recommend Petrichor. I think she had some really good, like, intense acting in that show. And I think it was a GL that offered something different with, like, the crime elements and stuff like that. So I would definitely recommend checking her out in Petrichor. But yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Let me look at my notes. Is there anything else I wanted to mention? Oh, I wanted to say, this is totally just off tangent, but I remember during Songkran seeing this clip of Jeff singing Rain Wedding, which was the OST he did for this movie, and Kang was in the crowd and he was like singing to Kang. And now, like, having seen the movie, I feel like I need to go back and rewatch this performance and like truly understand like the emotions around it, because like everyone was freaking out and I was like, oh, I don't really understand, but I guess there's something there. And now that I've like watched the movie, I was like, damn, I understand why everyone was very emotional about that moment, that little performance moment that they had. But all right, then what would you guys rate it on a scale of 1 to 5?
I'm looking at you, Pixie. I feel like you're gonna either say 5 out of 5, or you're gonna say something that's like controversially low. You're gonna be like 5 out of 5 because of Jeff.
Oh, no.
Dude, why do you read me so well? I was honestly like, I'm just sitting here not saying anything because that's exactly what I was gonna say. Don't mind me, I'm tired. 5 out of 5 because of Jeff.
I was like, it's always gonna be like because of Jeff, or it's gonna be like, actually, surprise. Yeah. I didn't like
I hated it.
True. No, I will say I do really love thrillers. So having Jeff and thriller in the same thing, 5 out of 5.
I think I'm going to say 4.5 because And like, I understand, I went in knowing that it would be like a kind of depressing film, but also like when shows end on a depressing note, it just leaves me a little bit depressed as well. So I think I came out of it having like a bit of an feeling of existential dread, maybe. Like, I loved everything about it, but I also think like maybe I wouldn't have watched it at this point in my mental health journey if it were up to me, if that makes sense.
No, I get that.
But it was such a good movie. Like, I think it portrayed its like the message it wanted to portray, and I was very like captivated by the acting and where the plot went.
Cinematically, it was really.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Boss Kuno of it all with the directing was like incredible. But I'll say 4.5 because it did leave me feeling like a little bit empty afterwards. And like, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, I'll give it a 4.5.
I think 5 out of 5 because I finished it and I was moved. I was like, wow, this was a really good movie. And I feel like I don't have that reaction a lot with movies that I watch
especially
anymore,
with
I'm
movies.
like,
But
yeah, I'm like, this was actually amazing, and I have like no critique of it. Like, the cinematography was so good. I loved like picking out all the symbolism in it. I'm sure I missed a lot too. I love the acting, the directing, just like everything about it. I was like, this is just great. Like, the story was also so specific. Like, a story about a durian orchard. I was like, how did they even like think of this?
Kind of random.
But I loved that about it, that it was like so unique, and also that it touched on stuff like marriage equality, that, I mean, not existing in that universe, but I liked the social commentary that they threw in there too. So 5 out of 5.
All right. Well, that's going to be all for our review of Paradise of Thorns, or The Paradise of Thorns, I think it is technically. So be sure to share your thoughts with us, what you thought about the film, what elements that you liked, if there's anything that didn't work for you, what maybe didn't work. And if you're watching this on YouTube, as always, we want to let you know that all of the shows we choose to review are voted on by our patrons. You can actually vote if you're on the free tier, so even if you just join as a free member, you still get access to vote in the polls. But then if you want to see the reviews early, then you move to a paid tier. All of our patrons get to see the reviews a month before they go out on YouTube. So if that's something you're interested in, consider joining the Patreon and seeing some of those other perks as well. But otherwise, that is all for this month's review, and we will see you guys again next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.